I would like a Big Mac, please. They would then say, would you like fries with that? And then you would say, well, of course I want fries. Then they would say, would you like a soft drink or an up drink to go with that? Yes, I would. We'd like to upsize your fries and your drink. Well, yes, I would. I would like to spend a little bit more money and only get 1 or 2 more fries and a little bit more pop. And then they'd say, would you like an apple pie for dessert? He said, yes, I would. I would love to. I haven't burnt the roof of my mouth in a long time. And boom. What McDonald's did is figured out a way to sell 5 things to one person. You're constantly trying to nickel and dime them. Then you're going to lose every freaking time. The company that focuses on how much money it makes versus focusing on the customer or the client is going to lose in the long term. The company who cares about the result and the experience the customer gets always has a better chance over the long term. Why? People don't give a shit about you unless you give a shit about them, and that's the way the real business works. Yo. No? Too much? Okay. Hi, welcome to another episode of Behind the Curtain. I am Glenn, your host, and our goal is constantly to give you information you can use. And we're big fans. If you've got the right information, you can make decisions, you can make contributions, and you can basically move in the direction you need to go to basically give yourself an advantage in any current market. So today, we're going to focus on a question that we asked AI. Now, doesn't matter which one you use, and there's so many of them. You know who you are, from Chat, from Gemini, to Perplexity, to Claude, and so on and so forth, and Grok. And I don't want to leave anybody out in case one of the AIs gets irritated at me. But you know what I'm saying. So again, a lot across the board is a lot of people give a lot of information, and I kind of liken it to the fact that it's really nice to say, but if you haven't lived the information that you're sharing with somebody else, if you haven't bled for it, if you haven't cried about it, if you haven't laughed about it, if you haven't lived it, then sometimes the information is just an opinion. So we like to base this in as many grounded places as we can get to. And today's question started off a different topic. We have been telling our clients about how to recession-proof your business now for almost close to 2 years. Now, again, this is going to date the video. So if you're looking at this in the years to come, it doesn't matter what time of the cycle we're in. You should be using all of these strategies or all of these ideas during good times and bad times. But because we're currently in an economic downfall, it's our way of also getting attention of you. Whether you own a business, work in a business, run a business, help a business, know how to spell the word business, or just in your own personal life. These things apply. And as a result, I just did it again. As a result, we just want to share. And I want to personally share and show you that there are people who've been through it, and it's not the first rodeo on this side. And there are certain patterns that work, and you can see and identify as long as you're taking and paying attention. And the best thing you can ever do is always stay aware of what's going on around you so you know how to position yourself personally, financially, or even in your business to get an advantage or at least succeed. So this was the question we asked AI. Businesses need to do what to survive this economy? Now, what it does immediately is it goes in, finds authority, finds information. One of our own pieces came back up, but that was kind of cool. But the process here is you're going to get people who speak loudly, who seem to have authority and give lots of information. And it gave us a list of things. And what I want to do is walk through them with you, because this is AI taking the content from the world and telling you what its best idea is or practices and the things you can do to protect yourself in a recession. Some of them are dead on, spot on, smack dab right in the middle of the bullseye, and some are so far out of left field, I have no idea why people said them. But shit, what am I going to do? I'm just going to comment on them and you can decide for yourself. Everything you decide for yourself. Just take information that I'm giving you, everyone's giving you, and really put it together. Use some critical thinking, use some common sense, and go, does that make sense? Do those things add up? And if they do, you move towards them. If you don't, you avoid them at all costs. And I mean costs, especially during this economic environment. So we'll just start off. It says, to survive a challenging economy in 2026, so now you know when the video is being made. And by the way, we're close to after the first quarter. Business, easy for me to say. Businesses must prioritize securing cash flow, boosting operational efficiency through technology. They didn't say AI, but they meant AI. And ruthlessly, not mercilessly, not antagonistically, ruthlessly cutting non-essential costs. Interesting. Key strategies include maintaining marketing spend to gain market share. So obviously those are essential costs. Pivoting to meet changing customer needs, very, very important, with budget-friendly options, meaning cater to your audience. And building a flexible workforce, which also means they're trying to get you back to AI. AI. Old MacDonald had a farm. A-I-E-I-O. No, A-I-A-E-O. I don't know. Sounded good in my head. But AI and AEO, very important. We'll get to them later. All right, key survival strategies. Let's dive right into it. Financial discipline and cash flow. Now, this is interesting because they put it as the top part, and yet it's the hardest part. And at the same token, it's going to tell you to do things that you're already having a hard time or may have a hard time doing already. And as a result, it seems like a flux capacitor. I'll give an example of what I'm talking about. First thing it says, financial discipline and cash flow, build cash reserves, accumulate 3 to 6 months of expenses. Now, this is basic financial planning strategy. Of course it is. Every person alive who's got a business or an income or basically works for somebody else should have 3 to 6 months of expenses set aside. That is key. Why? In case something happens, that's the number one financial planning strategy. Ask any AI. You don't have to ask a financial advisor anymore. Just ask an AI. They'll tell you. Ideally in a high yield savings account. That's interesting. So let's put it in perspective. Right now, they said have 3 to 6 months set aside. And the challenge for you is you're trying to survive or your business is trying to survive, and putting 3 to 6 months aside for, expenses in case something goes wrong. Yeah, it should have been done probably a couple of years ago. But let's say it is. Let's say you can. That's fantastic. Then it says put in a high yield account. Now I'm just going to jump off shoot here for a second. Okay. One of the things that is absolutely watered down right now is the whole ability of how to determine what inflation is. So they can come out to you and say, well, inflation last month was 2.4% or 3.1% or 4.5% or 2.7%. What does that mean? I have no idea because it seems like they move the needle every time. The reason I'm saying that is, okay, now you go through 3 months of 2.3, 2.4, and 2.5 inflation. Does that mean it's 7.4 total? Because does it compound? Does it not compound? Is everything going up? Is everything not going up? But here's the difference. Forget about the numbers. What do you feel like when you're going to the grocery store? What do you feel like when you're pumping gas into the car? What do you feel like when you're going and trying to find travel expenses or doing things with your family? What does it feel like when you're going to a restaurant and it feels like it costs $300 to go out and take a family of 4 to a restaurant? Now, I'm not trying to say that's what it costs. I'm just saying, what does it feel like when it does? Does that feel like inflation? Dude, I don't know if those numbers are included, but I do know this. You know the feeling every week if your grocery bill comes back in higher, the gas bill's higher, and so on. So let's put it in perspective. Let's say inflation for the year is 4%. They say put your money in a high yield account for 3 to 6 months. They generally range around 2.5%. All right, maybe 3. It says 3, right? At the end of the day, let's say inflation is 4. Let's say, inflation is 4 and your high yield account is paying an average of 3. Because you have to put big money in to get higher rates. But let's say you get an average of 3. So we're clear. If you put the money in at 3%, let's say $10,000 at 3% is basically what? For a year, that's $10,300. Totally lost its impact when you actually put the numbers together. However, inflation's 4%. That means whatever costs $10,000 right now as you put the money in the bank account will cost $10,400 a year from now, and you've saved $10,300. That is great news. Why? Because it only costs you negative $100 to buy. Forget the fact that interest-bearing accounts are also taxable under the government rules. I'm not getting into taxes. I'm just saying on top of the $300 that you earned, you have to pay tax on that. So you may have a little less at the end, depending on what your tax rate is. Blah, blah, blah. You get the idea. The point is, if inflation is higher than the highest yield return, it doesn't matter how much money you put away, you're never going to be ahead. Somebody left that out of this equation. But I'm telling you, smart, because then it's safe. Doesn't mean you're going to have more money, just means you're safe. So we'll get there. Right? So there you go, and what that means for that. Audit expenses, cut unnecessary spending such as unused software subscriptions or non-essential tools. Okay. That seems like a very ambiguous kind of one because then which you got to go through them all. Anyway, accelerate receivables. Incentivize clients to pay sooner and negotiate better terms with suppliers. That is great if your business runs that kind of stuff. Now, I would say to you, why don't you incentivize your customers to come and spend more or do more or be more with you? See, we're back to that same concept of creating reward, creating perceived value, and so on. So the incentivize one is correct, right? But if you've already got a client after the fact trying to incentivize them to pay you seems a little needy. But if you got them excited, said, if you pay in full right now, we'll include for absolutely free a Ginsu knife, which slices, dices, and cuts both cars and tomatoes into small slices. You have to be old enough to get the Ginsu knife joke, but you get the idea of what I'm saying, right? So that's the point. The idea is you don't have to worry after the fact. If you're doing it up front, people get excited to give you money because there's no greater pleasure than when someone says, thank you for letting me give my money to you for your product or service, and thank you for taking care of me. End of story. Be a better business. Customer-centric adaptability. It says, focus on value. Pivot offerings to emphasize affordability and essential value as customers prioritize necessities over luxury. Now, that is true in lots of areas, but not all areas. And second, it's kind of like, what business are you in where you're basically saying give more discounts or better affordability? Affordability is not about affordability. Affordability is about perceived value. At the end of the day, if somebody needs water, it doesn't matter how much it costs. They're going to pay for it. It's just a matter of what value goes with that water. So I like what they were going with here, but the reality of it is, if you give more value and someone has to get your product or service and they have to choose, they're going to choose the company that gives more value. Not always the most one with the most discounts, but the most value. Then the experience and everything becomes part of that. So you get the idea. You'll get the idea, right? Strengthen loyalty. This one. Put a big star. Put a big star, big bright light, whatever you're doing. You're probably not taking notes. So just basically strengthen loyalty. Enhance customer service and engagement, treating loyal clients as the primary revenue source. There is no greater process than understanding the biggest companies in the world know it's easier to get an extra source of revenue or more revenue out of a client that's already happy than to trying to find a new client and make them happy. Or simply put, if some of you've heard me give me the McDonald's example before, but for those of you old enough to remember, you would walk in and go, hey, before today's menu items, and when you say menu items, numbers on a screen, you could literally go into a McDonald's and you would walk in and go, hi, I would like a Big Mac, please. They would then say, would you like fries with that? And then you would say, well, of course I want fries. Then they would say, would you like a soft drink or an up drink to go with that? Yes, I would. Would you like to upsize your fries and your drink? Well, yes, I would. I would like to spend a little bit more money and only get one or two more fries and a little bit more pop. And then they say, would you like an apple pie for dessert? He said, yes, I would. I would love to. I haven't burnt the roof of my mouth in a long time. And boom. What McDonald's did is figured out a way to sell 5 things to one person, than to sell 5 people one thing. Always works better because once they love you, once they're in, once they feel the value or feel being valued by the business, by the people in the business, they're more apt to do more business with you. Now, if your business is not like that, then know the same technique works when you're bringing in new clients, right? So easiest version of that, be great to the people who are giving you money because they know they've got a choice and you know they got a choice too. So be real with them, be authentic with them, be genuine with them. Very, very important, right? Pivot offerings, adapt products and service to reflect current market trends rather than sticking to pre-downturn models. Agreed, right? You had a set way you want to sell your product or service. You're a coffee shop, you're a landscaper. I keep using the same examples over and over again. You own a jewelry store. You have a laundromat. You have a music store. It doesn't matter, right? When people need your product or service, they're looking for you in a very specific way. If there's competition and they can get the product or service a different way, you want to tailor more to the fact that it's easy. One of the things that you should get out of the McDonald's conversation is before, when they had the best upsell questions on the planet, they then went, wait a minute, there's an easier way to get you to buy. What is that? Value packaging. What do you mean? Now you walk into McDonald's and go, I'll take a 2, 3, 4, 7, 8 to go. That's it. There's no cheeseburger, burger, nuggets. You just give numbers. Because value packaging means if I get a perceived value, get a current market thing, you can name it, you can brand it, you can give it something of value because I'm getting something more of value than I would have got before. And that makes it feel more current. It makes it feel like you're catering to the audience. And in doing so, you may end up with per item less value, but you may end up with a higher per person total spend, right? And that goes across all the boards. Like if you're the landscaping company, hey, listen, we are willing to do the lawn for X amount of dollars, and for every 4 lawns you get, we give a 5th one. Or we'll do the hedges and trim them for free with every purchase of 4 lawn cuttings for the month. Whatever, right? Figure something out. Give something of value. Why? Everybody loves getting something for free. Have you ever noticed why buy one, get one free will always outperform almost 3 to 4 to 1, buy 2 at 50% off? I'll say it again in clean language. Buy one, get one free, or buy 2 at 50% off. They're identical sales, but one outperforms the other at 4, maybe 5 to 1. Why? The word free's in it. And we love the word free. And especially in an economic downturn, anytime you can give something a free value when somebody gets something else, you'd be amazed, absolutely amazed. Okay. It says operational agility and technology. Use freelancers, implement a flexible labor model to scale up or down easily without long-term overhead costs. Now, the funny thing is, the person who presented this in the video that this information was drawn for works for a freelance company. Go figure the information. Remember what I said to you in another video? You can see the other video here, or here. I'm one of these professionals. You can tell I have no idea where I'm pointing or where it's supposed to go to for the video. But the people in my team who make me look really amazingly better than I should, they'll put it wherever one of these goes. So they're way better at this than I am. They're way better people too. But here's the thing. Imagine someone says you should get a freelancer or basically outsource to somebody, which is funny because that's where the video came from to tell you about some of these things. That's why to me, it's like, remember in the information in the current videos, whoever presents the information, what's the vested interest? My vested interest is I love telling people stuff they either already know to be true, but then convert it and go, this is why it matters. I spent 35 years of my life helping businesses and people succeed because I just love doing it. Third, we have a base. We have a whole blueprint that shows this to basic clients. And sometimes every once in a while you look and go, there's enough value in this person, this team, or what he's saying where I want to know more. I'll give you a free blueprint. No questions asked. You just click the link below. But the purpose is, if someone doesn't tell you there's always somebody looking for an angle, then you have to understand your business is feeling the same way. If they feel they're being sold something, if a customer feels that you're constantly trying to nickel and dime them, then you're going to lose every freaking time. The company that focuses on money and not the customer, I'm going to say it again. The company that focuses on how much money it makes versus focusing on the customer or the client is going to lose in the long term. The company who cares about the result and the experience the customer gets always has a better chance over the long term. Why? People don't give a shit about you unless you give a shit about them. And that's the way the real business works. Yo. No? Too much? Okay. Here we go. All right. Leverage AI. I'm going to keep hitting this microphone so I can make a point. Ready? Point number 1. You'll feel that. The sound guy's looking at me like I'm an idiot. Anyway, leverage AI and automation. Well, if you can leverage AI and automation, what do you need a freelancer for? Go figure that out there, chicken little. No? Okay. Utilize automation for self-serve tools and operational efficiency, reducing reliance on manual processes. Now, that's a lot of gibberish and a lot of words to just say, be more productive. Okay. So let's do something kind of interesting. We've torn apart AI. Everybody in the business world who has any job related to coaching, financial, legal, consulting are shitting their pants. Why? AI can answer 90 some odd % of the questions that we can all answer. In fact, doing this, AI probably put some of this together to tell me to tell you. But what the reality is AI is only a trained tool. AI only knows what it's been told to do, and it only does what you ask it to do. And if you don't know how to ask the right question and how to generate something, it'll give you an answer based on the question you asked, not necessarily what you needed, but what you wanted. Most of us will never spend the time to learn how to become prompt experts. Why? Because we go, what is the best thing to do this? And it just goes, do this. Now, that doesn't mean you then go, okay, based on the information you gave me, could you give me some site references, actual examples, show me the actual results, the numbers, the metrics, and how that worked over 15 different companies of my nature in the scope of 3 to 7 to 10 days so I know the best results? Nobody ever asked that question. I do. I will sit one sometimes and give a prompt for 30 minutes until I get the question right because I want a specific answer. But it doesn't mean I get what I need either. Here's what I do know. AI will make you more productive. AI will cut down your budgeting costs. AI can take care of emails, but it can't necessarily write the best emails. It can make sure they go out on time. It can give you content for them. But when you're talking to somebody, you can train AI to do certain things, but it's not going to be proactive with messaging and concepts and things that you need in this current state. Now, it doesn't mean in the future it's not going to be. So if you're looking at this 10 years from now and you're already flying in the Enterprise around where no one has gone before and you're talking to the bridge, then forget the video and remember us as we used to be, right? We have no idea what's coming, but we do know this. It's going to be effective and it's going to be impacting, and you can get production at a low cost. These guys are all fighting against it. All these AIs are all trying to outdo each other. Now, that's both good and not so good, depending on what you're looking at, who could be first to do something. But I can tell you this, within a week, everything that you've seen today may be obsolete. But it doesn't mean it's better. It doesn't mean you're going to be rich or more successful. What it does mean is that AI can help you achieve results quicker. We use it, but I don't use it when I'm trying to be creative and basically target a message for a client or a business or even our own business to go, if I need to do this, I can connect the psychology quicker than technically what AI can do. Not because it's not faster than me at understanding, well, that makes sense. I get more, well, that makes sense. That is the right move. That's what we should have done. And I want to say, well, if that's the right move, why didn't you tell me that the first time? It's because I have to tell it the right move to make. So one of the things about AI is it'll give you great content. It'll give you great backstories. It can give you great insight into multiple ways people do multiple things at any given point in time. But it always can't. No, I know. But I'm getting myself back in their thing, right? So meaning it can give you reference points from different companies of what their best practices is. It can give you different ideas of what may work or in a certain situation or industry or product or service. But you're going to come to find, if you've never done this, think of it this way. You ask it a prompt, you do it a different thing, then you go back and go, well, that's great, what about this? And you go, oh, that is the right move, or that is a great idea, or that is the thing. And that's where the thing really comes out and you say, oh, AI is just trying to please me. And if you think about it, my first reaction sometimes is, well, if that was the right move in the first place, how come I have to ask you 2 prompts to get there? That's why sometimes I spend 10, 20, 30 minutes on a prompt. I don't spend 30 minutes on every prompt, but you get the idea. It's like sometimes it's very important to me to get it specifically, meticulously right. Because I'm going to tell you things, I'm going to make sure I'm verifying the different things that I understand to be true, or we understand to be true here at Exposure Marketing, right? So automation is fantastic. You're going to get a lot more accounting, a lot more legal stuff. You're going to tell a bunch of people, I write a contract with AI. I'm still telling you, get your AI legal contracts if you're doing them, or legal opinions if you're doing them, and have them and run them by a professional, a legal licensed professional, because there's some stuff that's still slop. So we're not 100% there where everything is that accurate, but you'll see enough jokes about AI on the internet where you'll see either the memes or you'll see video where it asked AI something. It was funny because there was one I watched about a car wash. It said, if the car wash is 10 minutes away, is it faster to walk or to drive the car to the car wash to get it clean? And the AI came back for the longest time and said, you should walk over to it's closer because the traffic and everything else will get you to the car wash faster to wash the car if you walk. Yep, that was the whole point. But that's what I mean. It's not perfect. It's not 100% accurate. And it makes up stuff and it hallucinates. You get all those things. So it is a phenomenal tool. And you'll be able to understand that. But for right now, we're still learning that thing. So it's not the end all be all. It's not going to become everything for your company, but it can save you time and productivity. I don't want to go on about it. It seems like I am. I probably am. It's because I want you to be aware going, just because someone says it can do something doesn't mean it can do it. You test it. You run it. When you're comfortable, you use it. You know what I'm talking about. Invest in digitalization. Shift towards digital services such as cloud technologies to reduce physical infrastructure costs. What? So storage for your software and your company stuff in a place that somebody else controls that you have access to but no longer physically own? I'll let you decide if that one's viable for you, or somebody may have it there at the bottom of the video going, you could link below and use this cloud service. And if you use my code, you get 10 or 20% off. None of that here. None of that here. I don't care. Meaning that I don't know if that one's good or bad, but you'll know. You'll know for you. It says, now this is the section that we're going to go off a little bit because, I don't know, I'm going to give you some real information based on what it says. So pay close attention. Or basically, if the recut is done, I'm going to give you information based on what it says. So, pay close attention. If you're taking notes, now's a good time. Or transcribing, or AI talking, or AI recording. Whatever it is, it'll be good. Proactive marketing and sales. Maintain visibility. Continue. By the way, we have told every one of our clients this is one of the key elements over the next 2 to 3 years. Do not hesitate with what you're about to hear. I'll give you the benefit of it and what to do with it, but do not hesitate. Continue or even increase marketing efforts to capture market share from competitors who stop advertising. Okay. So, in the blueprint that we give our clients, it talks about the perimeter. And the perimeter is your ability to be found, not to go after customers, not to prospect, not to go after leads, but to be found. And being found is more valuable than you knocking on someone's door. In different videos, you'll hear me say it. Advertising is you going to somebody's door or going to their email or going through their system of however you get a phone call or text, and you knock on their door and go, hi, I'm such and such from such and such. Would you like our product or service? Because we're offering this great program. That is advertising. It is the ability to get an advert to somebody, and you're prospecting. You're hoping someone wants your product or service. The opposite is somebody finds you because they need you, because they got a pain point, they got something that they need to get done. You are pretty much one of the people that service that kind of product or service area, if you will. And they find you and they knock on your door and go, we found you, we've heard about you, we like your offering, we like your website, your thing, whatever it is you're doing, and we want to know what that would be if you're going to do business for us. What do you do? How much is it going to cost? Or when you've got lead questions, like opening questions because they found you, that's huge. Now think about that. It just said up at the top, cut off non-essential items or tools. I will guarantee you there's a percentage of people out there who run a business, work in a business, or own a business who are trying to find out how to cut their costs in advertising and marketing, which is the exact opposite of what you do. Okay, maybe not the exact opposite, maybe not 100%, maybe 180 degrees, but don't do that in totality. If people stop seeing you are visible, that will be faster to the bottom than anything. Why? Front of mind, first recognized, the old version of being the first page of Google. I say the old version because that's kind of obsolete at this point. Because here's what happens. Have you done this yet? Have you gone into ChatGPT or Gemini or Perplexity or Claude or Grok or 80,000 other versions of that and said, what is the best plumber? What is the best coffee shop? What is the best landscaper? What is the best computer company? What is the best in my area? If you've not done that yet, you can bet your customers are. Some of them are absolutely doing it. And what they're doing and what they're finding is that AI completely changes the game. It is not an SEO Google bot space on the front page because that's, if your front page. People used to do think of the old yellow pages. People would put a 1 or they would call themselves Acme, whatever it was, Acme Plumbing, Acme this, because they would be front and center of the yellow pages. Now, if you have no idea what yellow pages are, these are things we used to use so I would look taller while sitting in a chair. Okay, for those of you who also don't understand what yellow pages, it was the directory of finding the closest businesses when you needed something. It's in the yellow pages. That became an online portal, and now that became SEO and Google rankings, which is now being replaced by AI searching because we're asking AI the questions. And the more that's adopted, the more it is. And AI searches completely differently. than Google does. Or sorry, that's not fair because Google has Gemini, which would make this completely confusing. So I'm going to try to make it less confusing. Gemini now sits as the answer portal at the top of Google, not the SEO ranking ones that paid for paid advertising and so on. Now, that's about a 90% plus version of what that happens. But what it means is the AI answers the question before you actually search down the page. ChatGPT, Perplexity, Claude, all the rest of them, Grok, they all do the same thing, but they basically tell you, here are the 5 top businesses. Now, how did those 5 businesses get picked? How did they get picked? How did AI determine those 5 businesses are the ones to go after? That is maintaining visibility. Now, the problem is not everyone knows how to do it right. Easiest version, authority, reviews, authenticity, genuine, content, good website. That's a good 5. Here's why. AI searches for the continuity of your content with the reviews that people are giving you, with the information that you're providing, with your own information, with the perimeter of what you've built for people to find you. That authority comes from content. That authority comes from videos and testimonials and reviews. That authority gives a higher pull ratio for AI. And the people with the most authority, they're going to be found first. Not because you're better, it's because you figured out how to get people to go, oh yeah, we like you better. We do this better. You do that better. Great. But what that means is the second you stop becoming visible, the second AI no longer has a reason to go find you. Okay, so now the AI tools are different. So now you're seeing it from a different perspective. Now you're seeing it from a business owner, business manager, solopreneur, entrepreneur perspective, or even a human perspective. You may use this already going, I need to get this battery. Where's the best place to get the battery? You can find that battery at 123 Main Street at Batteries R Us. Would you like me to call for you and get them to see if they got the battery in stock? That's a whole new ballgame, right? So going back to this piece that says maintain visibility, imagine, if you will, as times get rough, as times get tighter, as spending becomes less, as consumer confidence wanes and it becomes a buyer's decisionary market, the company that keeps positioning himself in the visibility is the one that everyone starts to trust a little bit more because they believe, wait a second, everyone else is pulling their advertising. You're still seeing, so you must be doing okay. Great indicator, right? It's not the end all be all, but you know what I'm talking about. It's just another little piece of the pie that tells them you're still around. Now, imagine, if you will, the pendulum. By the way, pendulum always swings. We go from great times to some rough times, and then back to great times. If you were the person or company that is available visually during the rough times, imagine how much more you're positioned better than during the good times because you already have the traction from the last 1, 2, 3 years. Oh my gosh, it just compounds. The whole point is do not eliminate your visibility budget. I'm not going to say marketing budget, your visibility budget. And the reason is because marketing is subjective. If you don't have the right message, it doesn't matter how much marketing you do anyway. So that's where, again, we look, without plugging it, that's how we build our client base. That's where I think we win in a creative environment, because targeting a message, getting people's attention, keeping their attention, and getting them to move through your system, bringing across your bridge, or going through your funnel, whatever version you want, is the key. That's where we are the experts. Yep, we use AI productivity too, but we do not stop letting people know we're around, and you shouldn't either. One final thing I want to bring in with maintaining visibility. I started that part of the conversation saying, watch the budget. Don't stop spending in that environment. What I was really getting to, so I can complete the circle for you, is you can spend all the money you want on advertising. You understand what advertising is free. If you haven't got the right message, if you haven't got the right connection to the audience, if you haven't got the right offer, if you haven't got the right setup, spending more money isn't going to do anything. Spending more money is just going to spend more money. You can be more effective. You can actually create better results, sometimes spending less money with the right message. That is how we get our clients the advantage. That is how we position everything in terms of getting their attention, getting the offer, a compelling offer, and giving a reason to act. Those are 3 simple strategies that you should be using right now. Every one of our clients uses them consistently to basically dominate. And what that can do, you can actually reduce your you can reduce your advertising spend and increase your marketing impact because the messaging is right. So do not hesitate to look into how to get better messaging, because they don't talk about that, because they talk about all the stuff that sounds good and generic. But the message, the compelling offer, the call to action or reason to act, those are the three elements that every company or every business or every product needs to focus on. You can save money sometimes by having the right message because it gets to more people, because they're affected more or they connect more with the dots. So that is something that is priority for your business, is not so much worried about how much money is spent, but what the wording is, what the message is, what the connectivity is, what the offer is, what the reason to come and do business with you is. Those are extremely important when it comes to maintaining visibility and getting your marketing across. The next thing on this list was target messaging. And I just finished doing a little soliloquy, my Shakespearean soliloquy of to be or not to be. That was pretty much it. But they're saying it, but target messaging, right? Emphasize ROI, cost savings, and reliability in all marketing materials. I say that's awesome and also bullshit simultaneously, right? People don't need to know that your return on investment, ROI, return on investment, is if you buy this now, you're going to save $5,000 later. Not important, as people think, right? What is important is singular message marketing, consistent across all of your perimeter to let people know that this is what we're doing, right? Cost savings. When you hear people say cost savings or discounts, that is literally asking your competition to compete against you at a level they can match you. If somebody does more volume than you, they can drop off a better discount or do the cost savings. Cost savings are great when people are cost conscious, and because we are cost conscious, we may look to that. Now, some people will buy just based on the discount. Some will buy because they can get a better deal from one person to the other. You're fighting, though, against all the competition when you're focused on ROI and cost savings. Where you will define the market, where you will take control of the market, is when you build on perceived value. When you incentivize? When you give an incentive to somebody to do something, a compelling offer. If you buy one and get 3 free is better than 4 at 25% off. The point being is, make me feel like I'm getting something for nothing, something better, or something more valuable. Hey, you can sign up for our program, and usually that's the program at this level for $99. In fact, what we're going to do is every person who signs up today for $99 gets the $199 package. Holy shit, that is way better than you can buy the second package at 50% off. Everybody does 50% off. It's the same deal, but the value. You ever remember when your parents said, it's not what you say, it's how you say it? That's exactly what marketing is. It's exactly what perceived value is. It's exactly what it means to be in business and dominate and take advantage and beat your competition. Because let me tell you something. I know that you're looking at this going, yeah, great information. Let me tell you, if your competition is watching this same video and they take action on the same things, they get a blueprint, they do different things, they execute the same things, you will not have the advantage anymore because your competition will. I don't know if they're watching or not. I'm just saying to you, somebody's going to pick up on what they have to do. And the company that goes and does it, the first, the fastest to the market, be front of mind, get in there, start creating compelling offers, reasons to act. They're the ones that are going to be around when this pendulum swings and comes back out of this economic downturn, to go back to consumer confidence, when everybody's willing to spend money again. More importantly, if you look like you give a shit for your customers and that you're taking action, don't hesitate. Don't hesitate to be your single market. Don't hesitate to go into the market and say, listen, we know costs are rising. We know that there's things going across the board. Your groceries, your gas. Why? Tackle it. Don't listen to anybody who says don't tackle it head on. Because if you look like you're out of touch, that'll also turn off a lot of clients. So your target messaging should be just as much about what's going on in the current market as it is about what your product and service and your compelling offer are. In fact, every one of our clients, we're turning into that conversation. Price freezing, price guarantees, all that stuff, 100% valuable. Now, yes, it's a little gimmicky, and yes, it's a little marketing-y, but so what, right? You want people to know that you're aware of what's going on and you're reacting in real time to their needs because you care. You give a shit about them, so they give a shit about you. It's that simple. And when you get that, the magic, it keeps happening because you have customers who stay with you longer. We call them customers for life. But the reality of all of those things means If somebody believes that they're getting great value, that you care about them, they've had a great experience, they see you across the board, your messaging was all over the place, you saw the pieces through your YouTube content, and you keep consistent in that message. It's not about target messaging, it's about singular message marketing through targeted audience. You will find your tribe, your group, your people, the people who understand the pain point that you're going with, right? Because at the end of the day, what is your product solving? What is your service solving? Because that is how people find you. I need my lawn cut. It is now a mess, looks like a jungle. I need someone to come and do that because my lawnmower doesn't work, or I'm not physically able to do so, or there's so much to do, I don't have the time, I need someone to do that. Those are real pain points for real objectives. And then they go, hey, AI, who is the best landscaper who takes care of their customers in this local area? Here are the top 5. Here are the top 5. Here are the top 5 landscapers that you can use to do this in your area. And that is how they're going to be found. But you can dominate that. You can control that. AEO. AIAEO. I'm going to get this right because I made up this little rhyme. Yeah, nothing to see here. Nothing to see here. Look away. Like the funny thing is, Jackson jumped up and he's like, "Oh shit." Yeah, nobody look. He's embarrassed.
He's still frozen.
Yeah, he's embarrassed. Hey, Remy, leave him alone. Yeah, it's not. He doesn't need that right now. He needs to know he's okay. So, AIAEO. O. McDonald had a farm. AIAEO. Be focused. Target messaging, yes. However, singular message marketing across all your perimeter, all of your channels, all of your marketing will be stronger, faster, and better than you trying to target an audience just for the target audience. Okay, finally, and we'll wrap this up with strategic planning. Monitor trends. Because you have so much time in your business as you're doing this in your coffee shop or your furniture store or your cabinet making company or your company. This is what everyone forgets about these things. Hey, all these videos are great. But if you teach me to do monitoring and I have to learn things and do things, now that's part of the process. And I guess I'm adding to that level. Hopefully I'm cutting through some of the noise for you so you can go back into doing what you need to do to be you. Most of these guys who talk about all this stuff forget that you have a business to run. And the last thing you want to do during your business day is to learn new things to run the business. But you do need to learn that automation. You do need to get those pieces out. And you do need to put and position yourself as a go-to company that AI is going to find. Monitoring trends, okay, use tools like Pastel analysis to identify opportunities in the volatile environment. Well, that sounds great, but what does it freaking mean? Yeah, you're not... I don't think that this was targeted towards your particular business if you're brick and mortar or if you're e-commerce or if you're a service business online. This sounds like a lot more of the other fluff kind of stuff. Finally, secure financing. Explore lines of credit or loans early before financial conditions tighten further. And the answer to that is, yeah, that might be out of the realm of what you can do. And I'll tell you why. Most institutions right now are tightening up across the board. We call it in Canada the pucker up. The closer we get to more people needing money, the more the banks pucker up. And look, all those things are great. And you could, if you can, secure a line of credit. But what you really want to do is get to the tip of the spear, top of the funnel. If you bring in more people and you treat them right and you give them and you provide a solution to the problem or pain that they have, and you give them a great experience, you won't have to worry about most of these things. Because when people need your service or need your product, they'll be telling other people, listen, you need to go see these people. They were fantastic with me. It didn't cost a whole heck of a lot. And I got this when I got that. They gave me this to get that. I got great value. Their experience was great. Their expertise was phenomenal. And at the end of the day, they did exactly what they said they were going to do. And they did it faster and or stronger and or better than when they actually said it. Yes, this is where, look, believe it or not, traditional old school stuff comes into play here. Under promise, over perform. Now, for those of you who never heard that, it means you're not old enough to know that that's how we used to talk about all these things in real life. Why? If you tell somebody you're going to do something on Friday and get it done on Wednesday, I mean, how much do you have to be taught that that's going to make them feel better and special and do things? Now, you're not telling them Friday because you'd normally get it done on Wednesday. You're letting them know that there's a reasonable time frame to get this done. And if I can get it done for you sooner, I will. And when you will, that perceived value goes through the roof, right? And it's kind of like the easiest version to be in business is to recognize the human element of the business. People are busy. People get shit on all the time. People get treated great sometimes. But it's sad that the businesses that will succeed are the ones that have to treat people normally, like human, like with respect, with gratitude, with a positive attitude, with a thank you. I mean, seriously, Walmart expanded from a little store in Arkansas, and all they did was they had someone at the door greet you and welcome you to Walmart and hand you a cart. And then they said, thank you for shopping at Walmart on the way out. Now, they still have those people in the greeters. They're not the same anymore. But for a long time, thank you and welcome were the three words, or welcome and thank you, depending which order you like, were the three words that kept them in business. I mean, no one ever picked up on the fact that if you hand somebody a cart, there's a law that says you must fill it when somebody hands it to you. But it's a lot easier to carry things with a cart. So they made sure you had the vessel to take and bring. So all these traditional things haven't gone away. We've just lost a little bit of it sometimes with this technology and AI and stuff. And I think AI is kind of bringing it back because AI is measuring your business by the authenticity, by the reviews, by the ability to go in and go, no, they're trustworthy. They do what they say they're going to do. And they do it in real time. They do it in great time and for a reasonable price. And by the way, if you act now, you get a free Ginsu knife, right? Those things don't change. That's human psychology. And that is how we at Exposure Marketing focus every element of that blueprint to make sure you're tapping into the one thing that no person can resist. Being human. Being relatable. Solve a problem. Help somebody out. And don't hesitate every once in a while to give something away for free. Okay. That's what businesses need to do to survive this economy. Thanks for watching.